The second part of overtraining is more dealing with the psychological aspect of it because it's really easy to understand what I should do when it comes to how hard I work. But everybody already kind of understands that training requires rest in order to get better. But everybody, well, not everybody, but many people still struggle with overtraining. And the problem is that the knowledge isn't the problem. It's not that you don't know that you need to rest. It's that humans are kind of psychologically wired not to think about, well, not to be able to think about rest as a positive thing. Okay. The good example of this is in football. So when somebody's taking a penalty in football, so it's a one-on-one against the goalkeeper has to decide in advance what they're going to do. The ball is going to move too fast for the goalkeeper to be able to make a decision mid-shot. So, they're going to go through all of their kind of data and information about what that player normally does, what if they go one way, what is their chances of actually saving it, just all the kind of statistics that they can have. But when people actually crunch the numbers on this, they find that probably the safest place for the goalkeeper to stand is dead center in the middle. So that means when the footballer goes to take their shot, the goalkeeper would do better if he didn't actually move. If he stayed in the middle, basically you're covering the center, which is the easiest part of the net to hit. If the player tries to aim for like an extreme, so top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right, now they have their own statistical disadvantage in that the fact that they could shoot it too wide. If you aim for the center, you're almost never going to shoot it too wide. If it's bang on in the middle, even if you're wildly out, you're still hitting the net in some capacity. So if the goalkeeper was to just stay there, statistically, they would do better off than if they were to dive to the left or right. Yet, almost all of the time, goalkeepers don't stay dead on in the middle, and they make some kind of a dive to the left, to the right. Maybe they'll dive and kind of drop, or they'll jump up. They won't remain on that spot in that position. So why is that? Well, usually penalty shootouts are pretty high stress, high stakes events in a football game. I'm losing my words today. And what that means is if the goalkeeper stands and appears to do nothing, then they're going to feel way more guilty if they then do not save the shot. So if they just stand in the middle and the ball flies into the top right or top left of the net, then from their team's perspective, from the audience perspective, and from their own like inner critic, all of those things are going to be screaming, you just did nothing. Nobody's saying, oh, well, he did nothing, but that was statistically the best thing to do, is he didn't even try. If you go and dive and you make a jump, even if it's in completely the wrong way, everybody's thinking, oh, at least I did something. The human brain is wired for problems are solved by doing, problems persist by not doing. And rest is as the biggest case of not doing something that you can get. So we are just innately wired to think that if we are resting, that is a sign of laziness, that is a sign of weakness. And if we then don't achieve the thing that we wanted to achieve, so you want to be the best footballer in the world, or you want to pass some audition or something like that, you're going to feel way more guilty if you added in the appropriate amount of rest for each training cycle that you had than if you just went full tilt every single day. And if you were completely broken in the process, like the less you're able to walk properly, the less you're able to speech to speak without slurring your words, the more everybody almost respects you for it, because like, oh, he really wanted that. He really did everything. But I guess the question is, you have to ask yourself of which one do you really want? Do you want the guilt-free brain of just feeling like you did everything as hard as you could, or do you actually want the thing that you were trying to get, or that you say that you're trying to get in the first place? If you want the image of somebody who goes at it and does everything, then by all means, overtraining is going to suit you pretty well. You're going to kind of suffer for it by the end of it, but you're probably not going to achieve the top level of things unless you get really, really lucky. On the other hand of things, if you are saying that you genuinely do want to achieve the event or outcome at the very top of where you're trying to get, then we actually need to figure out a way to be more realistic about how we're going to get there.